you aware of reports that Pakistan are allowing their bases to be used to park Iranian aircraft? I don't trust Pakistan as far as I can throw them. If they actually do have Iranian aircraft parked in Pakistan bases to protect Iranian military assets, that tells you making maybe mediating. No wonder this
So I want to talk about a word. The word is mediator. Pakistan has spent the last several weeks presenting itself to the United States as the diplomatic mediator in the Iran war. They're trying to show us that they're the honest broker. They're the neutral party. The country standing between Washington and Tehran. Well, they're trying to help end the conflict that has cost American lives, closed the Strait of Hormuz, and sent gas to $5 all across the country. Pakistan, our mediator. Well, news outlets are now reporting that while Pakistan was doing all of that, while Pakistani officials were sitting across from American diplomats talking about de-escalation, well, Pakistan was allowing Iranian military aircraft to park at one of its Air Force bases. Not a civilian aircraft, their military aircraft. It was housed at Nur Khan Air Base, a strategically important Pakistani military installation just outside of a city called Rawalpindi. Days after Trump announced the ceasefire in early April, Iran flew its planes to Pakistan. Pakistan let them land, and then Pakistan conveniently didn't tell Donald Trump. Among the aircraft was an Iranian Air Force RC-130. If you don't know what that is, it's a reconnaissance plane, a spy plane. Iran parked their spy plane at our mediator's military base, all while our mediator was, well, mediating. Now, Pakistan's response to this story is worth reading carefully. A senior Pakistani official told us, and I want to quote this again, Nur Khan Air Base is right in the heart of the city. A large fleet of aircraft that's parked there, well, they can't be hidden from the public eye. Well, isn't that an interesting denial? It's not that this didn't happen. It's, well, you would have noticed if it happened. And those are two fundamentally different statements. And the multiple U.S. officials who have now been notified by the news outlets, and they're speaking anonymously because, again, it involves national security, well, they said that it did, in fact, happen. So now we have a situation where American officials are saying that Iran's military aircraft were parked at a Pakistani airbase. Pakistan is saying you would have seen them if they were there, and somewhere in between all of this crap is the answer to a fairly important question. Is the country that we trusted to broker a ceasefire deal, are they simultaneously trying to help the other side hide their assets? I mean, think about what that means practically. The ceasefire was announced on April 8th. Trump extended it specifically, and this is documented because Pakistan's army chief, General Asim Munir, and the Prime Minister Sharif, well, they personally asked Trump to do it. Trump said yes, he trusted Pakistan, and he extended the ceasefire. And then days after that ceasefire, days after Trump made the decision based on what Pakistan was telling him, well, Pakistan assures us that everything's just fine, and Iran flew its military aircraft right to Pakistan's airbase. This, again, includes a recon plane, and that it presumably did not park there just for decorative purposes. Now, Lindsey Graham posted it on X today, and you saw that this post at the top of the video. I would not be shocked if this were true. And he pointed to something else. Given some of the prior statements by Pakistani defense officials towards Israel. So Graham, he's being careful there. So what Graham is gesturing at is that Pakistan has not exactly been neutral in this conflict. So Pakistan is China's closest regional ally. China is Iran's most powerful international backer. And Iran's position going into these negotiations, it stated these demands. They included American war reparations, recognition of Iranian sovereignty, and their controlling and lifting the closing of the Strait of Hormuz. So those are not the demands of a country that's thinking that it's losing this war. Those are demands of a country that's thinking its mediator is doing a very good job. And then there's also this. The ceasefire that Pakistan helped broker, the one that Trump extended, well, it's being described in the news outlets today that it's a ceasefire in name only. Just last week, 3 American Navy destroyers transitioning through the Strait of Hormuz, well, they came under attack. And on Sunday, Iranian drones targeted the United Arab Emirates again. The UAE announced it, and Reuters has actually confirmed it. So we have a ceasefire where Iranian drones are still hitting our allies, where American warships are still getting attacked, and where Iran's military planes are parked in an airbase of the country that told us that the ceasefire was worth extending. And this week, Donald Trump flies to Beijing to meet President Xi, where the Iran war is expected to be one of the most central topics of their conversations. So again, China has backed Iran, Pakistan backs China, and Pakistan is our mediator of peace. I keep coming back to this word mediator because it means something. Now, there's a version of Pakistani foreign policy here, and it's coherent. You can see it, and it's not stupidity, and it's not betrayal. So Pakistan is just a small nuclear-armed country that's trying to stay alive between the United States and China and Iran, all without getting crushed by any of them. And I understand that logic. Countries need to do what they need to do. But here's what I want somebody in Washington to answer for me. If Pakistan knew it was housing Iranian military aircraft while simultaneously telling Donald Trump the ceasefire was worth his trust, what exactly did we get for in exchange for extending this ceasefire? Because Iran is still blocking the strait. American ships are still getting attacked, and gas is still exploding all across the country. And Pakistan, meanwhile, our mediator, well, they're parking Iranian spy planes at its military bases, all while the ink on this deal hasn't dried yet. So multiple news outlets are now asking some of these questions, and U.S. Central Command, they referred all their questions to Pakistani and Afghan officials. What did Lindsey Graham say? Well, he called for a complete reevaluation of Pakistan's role. So watch whether this happens, and watch whether anyone in Washington actually asks Pakistan what an Iranian RC-130 was doing at Nur Khan Air Base in April. And watch what their answer is, because the answer to that question tells you everything about whether this ceasefire is real or whether it's just a word. You know, like the word mediator. If you've yet to subscribe to the channel, we'd love it if you did that. You could just hit this button right up here. And we have some other stories right up this direction that we think you'll love. Definitely check them out. We'll see you in the next video.